All right. I am thrilled to be joined today by Gophers men's basketball coach, Niko Medved. Feels like you've been on the job longer than you have, Niko, because a lot has happened already. It feels like just I'm sure you're feeling it as much as we are, but the recruiting, whatever happens in the portal, things like that, and just kind of gearing up for year one. So first of all, welcome. How are you doing today?
Today I'm doing, first of all, I appreciate it. I'm doing
Yeah.
great. I was actually in Colorado just for a few days over the weekend with the family, and I joke like I think it's raining and colder there today, and I look out, it's going to be 80 today. The
Yeah.
sun's out. Things are good. We're obviously still working here to kind of finish out the team, and we'll be here in a little over a month starting summer workouts. But things are progressing for us. So yeah, it does feel like you said that I've been on the job maybe longer than I have, because you just kind of put your head down and go. And the one thing that hasn't changed, I still haven't even decompressed from last season. You
Yeah.
go from last season sort of right into this, just nothing has slowed down yet, but that's the nature of what we do. But I feel really good about where we're at.
As I get to know new coaches in particular, I like to ask them kind of right off the jump, what is it about coaching that you love or that drew you to this?
My favorite part of coaching is practice. I enjoy practice. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy planning practice. I enjoy the staff meetings when we're working on planning practice or scouting, spending time with the guys. That's the part of it. I mean, at heart, I am a coach and a teacher. That's really what I wanted to do. I think a lot of the other things have come natural to me too, as far as you're connecting people, you're selling your program. It's like it's a teacher and a salesperson all at the same
Hmm.
time. But the favorite part about my job is still when we do get to practice and get better and compete and all those things. So with everything that goes on in this job and more than ever, we still do get to coach basketball, believe it or not. We still get to practice. We get to plan practice. We get to, figure out how we're gonna scout opponents and continue to adjust and evolve. And so those things and the challenge of that, I really enjoy.
Does that feel more satisfying now, maybe more than ever, just because, like you said, there is probably more to this job than when you started?
Yeah, there's always been a lot to the job, and you
Sure.
and you and you know that. Um, I think what maybe the older you get and the longer you do it, you just appreciate those things more.
Okay.
You kind of understand more of the rhythm of your days and your seasons and all that, and okay, now this is the time where we get to do this, and you're able to really focus and enjoy and know, hey, for this period of time in the day, this is going to be the only thing that matters. And so I think maybe you understand that and you're able to block that out and maybe appreciate that part
Hmm.
of it more. And like you said, I mean, listen, it's always been a big part of the job, all the other things.
Yeah.
And I enjoy those parts too, but maybe the older you get and the more you've done it and with everything going on, you just appreciate those moments more.
What would you say then is like do you have an overarching like coaching philosophy, whether it's X's and O's like on offense and defense stuff you like to run? I think we see some of that in how you construct your rosters and how your teams have played already, but like how do you go about building like exactly what you want your teams to look like?
Well, I think obviously we have types of players that we really like, and I think, yes, I mean, people who've watched us play, we do have a system and a style that we like to play, but it's about players, not systems
Sure.
and plays.
Yeah.
And I think what's fun about this is, yes, we have a way we like to play, but every year it looks a little bit different because your team is different. Every team is unique.
Yeah.
Every player is unique. Just because even a guy who you have returning in your
Yeah.
program they evolve, the people around them evolve, the way maybe people guard you or you guard evolves. So you have to keep evolving what you're doing. But I think, there's some mainstays of things that we believe in and that we like. And, our teams have always been among the leaders in the country in assists to field goals made. We've always been a team that's been really, really good at 2-point, field goal percentage. We run the floor and play aggressive on missed shots. And I think those are things that we've always done. And so, but again, one of the fun parts for me is every year you get a new team. And again, even when you have returners, it's a new team, but it's about players and figuring out how you have to continue to tweak what you do to maximize their talents.
How can you tell then when a team, obviously everything starts new every year, like you said, or close to it. How can you tell when it's starting to click, when they get it, when they get what you're wanting them to buy into?
I think that's really hard to quantify or to be able to explain. It's more like, it when you see it. And it's just it might be something really small that, a fan might not see, or even somebody who follows us closely, but you see it. It could be something simple with a decision or a cut, or, as silly as a certain pivot or finish that all of a sudden in a pressure situation or in practice, even that they're able to utilize something that you've watched film, that you've worked on, and the light starts to go on and you start to see them open up or become more comfortable with what we're doing on both ends of the floor. And so I think you're looking for all those little wins and process as you're going. And every team progresses different. Every player progresses different. Obviously you're trying to get them to progress as quickly as possible, but I know it's a cliche, but sometimes you can't rush those things. And it's like our team last year at Colorado State. We got off to a slower start, but because we kept improving and getting better, when a couple things started to go our way and the light clicked, I mean, boy, we really took off.
I want to get to some specifics of players you've already brought in just a minute, but first I got to ask, what is it like to recruit the portal? Because that's become such a big deal in the last 3-4 years, transfers, especially this year as you're trying to build your initial roster here. What has that been like to try to to recruit so heavily in that space?
Gosh, I think about it. It's obviously, everyone talks about the term speed dating and all that, but in a lot of ways it's moved a lot like NBA free agency to be honest. That most of these guys have agent representation. Obviously the NIL and the money is a part of it. And so I think for a lot of these portal guys, they've kind of cut out all the fluff of, I don't need to go to the, be on campus for 48 hours, go to the football game, go do all the, pomp and circumstances. Like they've kind of been through that before. They know what's important to them in this. And we do too. So I think it comes down to a lot more simple things. But it's probably a little bit more like NBA free agency, but you're still doing a lot of the same things that you've done before, as far as your style of play, how they fit, how they can develop here. I'm a relational coach, we really value people and, who they are. And so I think what you have to do, Michael, in a short period of time, you have to try to distill a lot of information, right, about this person. And do they fit? Are they going to fit in with what we're doing and what we want from them? And you got to rely on your network. You got to trust your gut, but we still, even in this condensed recruiting, we still have to find the right kinds of people to be a part of our program. And it's a challenge. There's no question. But you can do it. But the days of the, 2-year recruitment of some of these guys is not the way that it used to be. Now it still will be for some particular high school players. But things just move quicker and quicker, and you have to have more of a plan like they would in the pros.
One quick caveat: the house settlement, if and when it's still proceeding, right now. But if that happens and you get, there's the additional money that comes in outside of just NIL, how does that impact a program like Minnesota specifically?
Well, I mean, I think the House settlement, it will pass.
Yeah.
Again, it's just a matter of time here. I think it's going to add some transparency, a little bit more rules of engagement for what we're doing. Um, I'm trying to think of the adjective I want to use without getting into trouble here.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think this is the end. I think that, this is part of the evolution of maybe where we're
Okay.
going here in the next
Okay.
3 to 4 years. Um, Everyone's going to try to figure out how this clearinghouse will work when we're talking about outside dollars, from our rev share. I do think from a rev share perspective, being in the Big Ten and being at Minnesota, I think that part of it will be very, very competitive for us. I think the trick to all of it, though, is figuring out the other piece, right? Now, what does NIL look like? This is not NIL right now. It's just more money to pay for play. But in theory, they want the rev share piece to be your salary cap, so to speak. And then, NIL is what you can earn really off your name, image, and likeness.
Right.
And so do we come to a different spot than where we're at? Yes. Is it a more regulated? Yes. But I don't know yet that it's going to be where it needs to be, or hopefully where it is moving forward.
What excites you about the players that you've brought in and the players that are already here? There's some talent that's, a lot of players have gone, but there's still a lot of talent here, especially Isaac Asuma. That he's very good. Asuma. What about that excites you, including the group, all the transfers that you brought in?
Listen, the idea is and people get to know me, and players have said that I'm the most competitive person in the world. I hate losing. Where, you got to win. Having said that, I really like all these guys, man. I really like them as people. I mean, I think it's a big deal I guys that I really enjoy being around. I think they're all good guys. Our staff is great. So it's going to be a group of guys that I'm going to enjoy being around every day. And that's a great thing, when you're trying to kind of start this together, starting with the guys that were here in the program. I mean, Isaac Asuma and Grayson Grove are just awesome guys, man. I really enjoy being around those guys every day. We've only got a couple of them, here right now before the team gets here, but that really stands out to me. Now, we haven't worked together with these other guys yet. We have a team. There's that whole process, but as far as, they're really good dudes, man. Great personalities, fun to be around. And I think that gives you a chance to start when we're coming in and trying to formulate this thing. I think that we've added a good mix of experience, some players with multiple years left. I think at some point here, you'll see some news about another player who, sometimes not in today's day and age, believe it or not everything can be reported in real time.
Okay.
But I do, I like these guys. They look like they're going to be a good group to work with, and I'm excited to get them here and start the process.
It seems like you've got some length on the perimeter in particularly, and that seems like something that that looked like it was a good thing that you had going at Colorado State too. Is that something that you can kind of latch onto in year one as like a way that you want, like a play style, especially on defense?
I hope so. I think, if you go to the highest level and, we'll have our third straight player at Colorado State that's, going to be in the NBA. I think positional length is a big deal at that level. I think every level you go up in college, I think that stuff can become more and more important. Now, you have outliers. I think that I've also seen teams make mistakes where they get too hung up on analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
I get it. Yeah.
And again, there's analytics and there's manalytics. And sometimes the guys who end up being the best players are the ones who they don't fit the bill. I mean, our kid, Isaiah Stevens, we had at Colorado State, undersized on the bill, but just one of the best players. And he's, with the Miami Heat now on a two-way. So I think you got to be careful with that. But yes, do you like guys who have, versatility on offense and defense in particular, be able to switch, be able to do some things, defensively, just like you are offensively. I think that's a big deal. I think a lot of times your best rebounding teams are the ones who can rebound from the perimeter too. You know, that you have guys who can rebound the ball on both ends from the perimeter. And so, you know, yeah, we've been able to do some of that. And, you know, we'll see when we get here how it all plays out. But I do like some of the length that we've been able to get.
Niko, just a couple more things for you before we let you go and get back to the billion things I'm sure you have to do today and to get ready for the season. But you came in under Clem Haskins. You've seen, I think you actually started at the U maybe 2 years before me, so our tenures there probably overlapped a little bit. But you've seen this at its peak. You've seen this as good as it can get under Clem. Like that was kind of the pinnacle. I know the Final Four season happened right after you were gone, but what how do you, if not Final Four, how do you succeed where maybe some of the predecessors since Clem Haskins haven't always been able to have that consistent level of success?
You know, I'm not. I know all the coaches well who've been here before, and they're all great guys.
Sure.
Worked their butt off. I mean, you know, so I guess one thing I'm not here to compare ourselves or anything or contrast to anybody else.
That's our job. That's our job.
And it'll be your job with me too, right? Like,
yeah, right.
You know, I know how this works, but I think that, you know, the way we've done it at all the other places, and have been able to really bring some energy and winning to the program. I really believe wholeheartedly we can do that. We have everything that we need here to be successful. Do we need more? You know, yes, we need to keep building it in a lot of ways, but I believe we can. I just think the time is right. And the one thing I know, Michael, from being here, like you said, when this place was really at its best, is there is a real groundswell of people who love Gopher basketball here in the community. It's still here. And I know that from being here and growing up here. And we just got to find a way to bring it out. And, you know, I think when you if you can build a consistent winner here, you know, and it doesn't mean you're winning the championship every year, but year in and year out, we got a group that the fans really feel like they can get behind and can compete at the highest level. And I believe we can do that. And I'm telling you, when that happens, you will start to see the energy build, you know, back in this program. And so I just think the timing is perfect. I believe in what we do and how we do it. I don't know if it's going to happen overnight. But again, I think we've got the right people in place. I think the time is right to do it. And when that barn is rocking and it's a tough ticket to get, there's no place like it.
That is very true, Niko. I like to end interviews sometimes with this question. We've learned a lot about you in the last month or two, even before that, but maybe what's one thing that might surprise people about you if they knew it?
Oh man, that's a great question. I'm not a very surprising guy.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I think one thing people would say, what you see is what you get. I mean, I'm not, you know, one guy in practice and one guy at home or one guy with you. I think I just kind of am what I am. There are maybe what somebody might surprise you is there are no surprises.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I get it. Yeah.
I'm not, I really kind of am who I am. I mean, I'm a normal guy. I like being a normal guy. It still strikes me when people want to take selfies with me, or I was like, why do you care? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just a normal guy. I don't know. Why do you want to take a picture with me? But so that stuff is kind of hard for me a little bit because I'm a regular guy. I can cook a little bit. I like to play golf. I like to fish. Not that I have time to do all those things. I love my family. But I think probably maybe it wouldn't surprise people, but it's just, I'm just a normal guy.
You said it's kind of the selfies and people asking to take pictures. Is it still like, has this sunk in yet? I mean, this is your dream. You're in this dream job now. Has that sunk in?
No, I mean, I'll be honest, you know, not yet. And, you know, maybe it really won't until we start playing games next year. I mean, this is what I do. I mean, I've been a head coach now for a long time. I've been in this. It's just, you kind of, when you get in the moment, you just do what you've done. You know, this is the fourth head coaching job and programs. And so, you feel good about that, and you just keep going. And so, no, it hasn't sunk in yet. I mean, look at my office behind me.
I was going to say,
I've got a. This is actually, I think, from the rack downstairs here that I've got. I haven't done anything yet that way. We haven't found a house yet, so I think it's when we get settled, we get the team back here, and then honestly, once we play a game next year, that's when it'll really hit that. Man, this is real. This is our new home.
Awesome. Well, Niko Medved, appreciate the time and getting to know you a little bit better. Great times. Best of luck getting this all geared up, and best of luck going forward. Okay.
Hey, appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.